My first question is, what was it like to oversee a group of effects artists?
It was honestly a ton of fun. I had so much fun every day in meetings. The group of effects artists at Pixar is they love what they do and they're dedicated to it, and you can see that in their passion for their work. And so that made it so fun to to show up every day. We were mostly virtual, so show up in a Zoom room and yeah, it was so fun.
And what would you say was your favorite moment working with this team?
We had a couple of in-person moments, which was like fun in itself, but I think the amount of laughter we had, like we had so much fun as a team, kind of creating a space to crack a few jokes here and there. Like we're still in a pandemic, you have to keep things, light and fun and just everyone's energy was so much fun and yeah, I don't know that I can boil it down to one specific moment, but um yeah, just like team meetings. Everyday meetings were super fun. And then when we did finally meet in person, it was great to it was like an almost like an out of body experience, I'm sure, as you've like had yourself going from Zoom to in person. But it was great to meet them in person
Well,
when
that's
we
good to
did, yeah.
hear. But so speaking on working with the team, what would you say was the biggest challenge or the most difficult thing you and your team ran into?
I mean, I think there were the obvious challenges of just being in a virtual landscape. Sometimes Wi-Fi would drop or things wouldn't send or things would break, all of that. Sometimes it would be, today we got more notes than we thought we would, so let's kind of regroup and see how we want to handle them. Is everyone feeling okay? It's not always fun to get notes, as I'm sure working in a space where you have editors and um, you're constantly making iterations. And so yeah, I feel like those times could get a little difficult, but we always pulled through as a team and again kept it light. We laughed a lot even in those hard moments. So yeah.
That's good to hear. And then, so Lightyear is a movie about learning from your mistakes, but it's also a movie about teamwork. There's a heavy teamwork element to it. And I'm curious, what would you say as a team y'all did best, and where do you feel that the cooperation felt strongest?
I think that the effects team was so incredibly good at finding creative solutions, right? So if we got a hard note in a review and we didn't know how we were going to make that happen, the team came together and the leads especially would were so great at kind of maybe there was a new piece of technology that hasn't really been explored a lot. Maybe we try that to see if we can get that effect. Like they were so innovative and willing to take the time to kind of work through problems with both the artists and us on the production side. Like if we were seeing on the production side, this time frame is going to be a little bit more hectic. Like how do we think we want to manage that as a team? The leads were so incredibly great at that, and the team itself, like the artists, if they saw someone struggling on their effect, they might reach out and say, hey, I tried this the other day, it worked well for my effect, maybe it could help you. Like there was just so much collaboration and innovation as a team from everywhere, like coming from all sides, that it really helped kind of forge that bond as a team and kind of create, in my opinion, some of the coolest animated effects ever to hit the screen. So
It's a
yeah,
beautiful movie.
it's so fun to watch. Yeah.
And then, so speaking on being a digital production, since it was during COVID,
Yeah.
what would you say what were some positives of working in an online space, but also what were some negatives, considering animation is different than filming a real life movie, but similar in many regards?
Yeah. I think, I touched on just the general like technology issues that we would face. Um, I think sometimes when you're in a room or you're even on Zoom, a lot of the like day-to-day nuances can get lost in translation. You're trying to say something, but maybe someone can't really read your body language. They only see you from, head up, right? So it's like, how do you kind of explain something like this? And then there's not you can't just like grab a piece of paper and like draw out what you're thinking. Like, sure, there's Zoom alternatives and you might be able to like hold it up to the screen, but that gets difficult. But I think that we really kind of came together and found the best solutions that we could. So if it was drawing something on a piece of paper and like showing it up, we would do that. If it was, you know, and there are so many things technology wise that our artists and directors use in reviews that I don't even fully understand. Like I knew the general concept of, but they would be able to draw over things and give notes that way. That way our artists had direct feedback kind of right away. Some of the other challenges in a Zoom space is like you don't always know what's happening on the other side of someone's computer. Like you're not walking down the hall to see them. You can't like pop into their office and say, hey, a super quick question. You're sending Slacks, you're waiting until a meeting. And so sometimes that can get a little tricky. But, I think one of the things that our team did really well was kind of setting expectations. Like, if you want to communicate with me, this is how best to communicate with me. Like, we were really good about that and kind of making sure that everyone knew the best way to get in contact with people if needed. Um, and yeah, I think we did really well considering it's hard in a virtual space and
For sure.
yeah, but I think we did really well.
And how does it feel now knowing that this movie is about to be released to the world, all the work you and your team have done is now finally going to get seen? What is that making you feel like?
Oh, just pure joy and excitement. I have been talking about it takes, years for an animated movie to come to life on screen. And um, my family and friends have known that I have been working on this the minute that the title was announced that it would be coming out. Um, and so to finally be able to be like, go see it, you can see what I did, because not everyone understands what, effects artists do. You kind of have a general concept, right? And I would try and explain, like, you'll see it in the trailer, like you see that one shot, like this is the effect. But for them to be able to see the full movie, that's really special. And it's, my first Pixar credit. So that's
Yeah.
even more special to be able to like share with friends and family. And everyone is like, I can't wait to see it and wait for your name to come on screen. So it's really exciting.
Because you joined 2021. You joined Pixar in 2021, correct?
Yes, I joined in 2021. I think by the time I joined, Lightyear had already been announced to the public that it was going to come to theaters. So that made my job easier because I could talk about it and be like, I'm on that Lightyear film. And they're like, oh, okay.
Didn't have to hide it.
I know I didn't have to be like, I'm working on a secret project and I can't talk about it. But yeah.
And then what's your relationship to the Toy Story franchise? I mean, you graduated in 2017, correct?
Yes.
So Toy Story 3 and even Toy Story 2 is very much a big part of your childhood. But is that true for you? Like, did you follow the franchise as you grew up?
Absolutely. I remember Toy Story 3 coming out, and now this is going to be I don't know how long you've been in Austin. But Toy Story 3 came out and there was a theater called the Dolby Theater. I mean, the Dolby is a thing on campus, but there was an actual movie theater and the screens were like way smaller than normal theaters. But my family and I went to the Dolby and like made it an event when Toy Story 3 came out. We're like, this is us. We're like pretty much all adults now, but like let's go watch this at the theater that like we used to have birthday parties at. And so it was really special. And then Toy Story 4 came out and watched that with my family as well. And just like it blows my mind every time how Pixar can like put the things that they put on screen, like how they make them happen, the stories that they're able to tell and how they can resonate with audiences. It blows my mind every day. And now I get to see kind of the back end a little bit and like, how things work on the inside, but it continues to blow my mind and I still am in awe. Can't wait to see it in a theater.
And what
Lightyear, that is.
Yeah. And if you could pick any other Toy Story character to get the Lightyear treatment next, who would you pick and why?
Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay. Toy Story character to get the Lightyear treatment. Oh my gosh. I could give you like 15 answers. I I love Dachshund, so like Slinky was the first one, but then I was like, I don't know what Slinky would do, but Pixar could come up with something. They could find something for Slinky. But then I feel like if you could go to like, I mean, Woody would be an obvious choice. I love Jessie too, the cowgirl. I mean, from Texas, why not love a cowgirl named Jessie? The dino always had the dino, like Mr. Potato Head, Rex. When I say the dino, it's Rex, Mr. Potato Head. They were always super fun to watch. Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. I don't know. I guess we'll go with Slinky just because I'm partial to dogs and dachshunds, but I
That's
don't
the
know
next
if that's
Disney
the
Plus
best.
show.
Yeah, maybe so, maybe so. Just
um,
Slinky or Jessie will be my top two.
yeah,
Those will be my answer. Yeah.
Jesse would be a good one because we have an
Jessie would
effects
be a
one.
great one. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with Jessie. You know what? We're changing the answer again. We'll go with Jessie.
It'll be a Jesse and Slinky like combo show or movie.
Sold. Sign me up.
If you could describe Lightyear in one word, just for audiences who are going to be seeing it soon, how would you describe it? And if you want, you can make it a sentence. It can be longer, but
Oh my gosh, one word. Okay. I have like 5 words, but I don't think they string a sentence. I think it would be, and I'm going to say multiple words, so I'm cheating, so apologies. But I'm going to say it's just pure fun. Like watching, it's so beautiful. It's just so fun to watch. So it'll be fun. Um, it'll be an adventure. Like the story, you aren't always sure where it's going to go, and it kind of takes you along for that ride, and you're fully invested in it. So it's an adventure for you as an audience member to be taken on that ride with Buzz. Um, and I feel like there's a lot of heart in there. There's going to be heart for the audience that's going to connect with what they see in Toy Buzz, but there's so much heart in human Buzz that they're going to connect with that part of his character. And so fun, adventure, and heart. Those are going to be my
those are
three
good
words,
words
I
to
guess.
describe it. I agree.
Okay, cool.
And so there's a lot of themes going into this movie with teamwork and mistakes. Well, learning to not just mistakes, but learning to
Yeah.
understand your mistakes and why, and how to work through them. But would you say, aside from just the movie itself, would you say there was definitely you could see those themes in the work you were doing with your team, like
Yeah,
cooperation
I
and
mean,
fixing
yes,
mistakes as a group?
absolutely. Yeah, so I think, I mean, part of the like general process that we had on the day to day that most people have in their day to day lives is like you have a first pass of something. You kind of put something together that you think will hit the target close enough. Then you take it. Sometimes it hits on the first try, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you've got to go back and iterate. And it's through those iterations you're getting closer and closer to that target. And I think that is what we were doing in every day, right? Like our artists were trying to hit that target. They were seeing what was in the boards, taking what was coming from layout, like what were our leads giving them direction on, what was the director Angus giving them direction on. They were trying to hit that target. They'd take it to reviews. They might get notes, they might not. Then they'd go back, they'd iterate on it, they'd make it better, they'd get it closer to that target until it was finally on target and ready to be published and put in the film. So yeah, I think it's important to kind of like be along for that process when you're going through it, right? Knowing that you might not get it on the first try, but you're gonna get there. And everyone around you is there to help you get there.
Mhm. And then it's a
Yeah.
satisfying group achievement when you all finish it.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. And especially for, some of the effects that might have taken more iterations than others, when you finally hit that mark, it's like everyone is there to celebrate with you and you're like, "Yes, we did it. You did it." It's so exciting and so beautiful. Like, please celebrate this and enjoy this and know that this beautiful thing is going to end up on the big screen.
Because I guess it must feel like what you're doing in the moment. It's very small because it's you're just working with a bunch of people to make this happen.
Yeah.
Is it hard to feel the impact once it's released and understanding how many people's lives you're touching with this movie?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I can answer that yet because it's releasing very soon, but I haven't I've kept up with some of the reviews, but I think it'll hit me once my family is able to see it and my close friends are able to see it and I can like finally talk to them about it in detail to know like what impact it had on them, whether they share that immediately with me or not. But it's yeah, it's you don't always know what's happening in the day to day, 2 years out from release or 1 year out from release. You're working on the smallest of an effect in one shot, and you have no idea what the final product is going to look like. And you're just kind of along for the ride. And then as you get closer and closer, that anticipation builds. And, you know, I was lucky enough to see it with like my peers at Pixar and hearing their joy because everyone's working on something different, right? Like the sim team is working on something, the effects team is working on something, the production team is, helping all of the artists. And it's just such a collaborative environment, and you really don't know until it comes out, and like you get little pieces, and it certainly the anticipation builds and the joy and the excitement builds as you get closer to release. But yeah, I don't know that I felt that fully, and I won't until my mom goes to see it or
Mm.
my dad goes to see it.
And you
But
get to
yeah.
show them your name in the credits.
Yes.
And I guess lastly, what advice would you give UT students looking to do what you do?
Oh, I would say, don't be discouraged and don't be um kind of set that there's only one path or one way to do things, right? Like I was a history major. Who would have thought that I would have ended up at Pixar in production? Not me. Um, yeah, don't. There's always multiple paths and multiple ways to get to something. If you love something and are passionate about it, keep going for it. Keep applying to those internships, those jobs, and then reach out to people on LinkedIn. Ask for informationals, ask them questions. Like people will be able to read that passion and that desire. And I think that is what has helped me get to where I am is that passion and that desire and the just the love for the creativity in the film industry itself. Like it's so fun. It's so wild that I get to do these things. So yeah, have fun, share your passions, ask questions, and don't be discouraged. Keep going.
That's good advice. And thank you very much, Stephanie, for your time